What's up guys, welcome back to another video and welcome back to part 2 of how to trade cars. Now the good thing is you can see a smile on my face. That's because the car is sold now. It's actually gone quite fast. So in this video I want to break down more all in detail because there's stuff that I skipped on the previous video, and then of course talk about the earnings, how much money it costed me in total and how much profit or potential profit I made on the car. So what we'll do is we'll go into the Smart, and first of all check out the view, and the weather is amazing today, so it just shows nice. Yeah, nice place. So let's get in the car, we'll get in the Smart, hop in, and I'll break down everything more in detail. And of course in this video, before I go into it, I'm not a professional car trader, and there are probably some more tips and things that could be done, or some of you might know better than me, to be fair. But this is just my personal opinion, my take and my experience. So I'll put everything on the notes on my phone of all the expenses the car cost me. Before we go into all this information, let's first talk about a few things I skipped. Obviously one of the main things are, where do you buy the cars? Where do you pick up cars for a great deal so you can make a potential good profit? So that's a tricky one because, as I mentioned previously, at the auction it's not always the best place to find cars. However, you could sometimes pick up good deals or potential good deals that you could make a nice profit, but it's not a place that you will always find an amazing deal. As I said, nowadays an auction, sometimes you don't have that much leverage, profit. In the end of the day is, when you buy, let's do an example, you're buying a car that sells for around 2 grand on that condition and all that, Soteria, and you need to pay for it maximum around £1,200. Now, because it's not you're going to make 800 profit, there's always going to be costs involved, plus you're taking a risk. In the end of the day, it comes down, you're taking a risk, you're putting your money on an asset that the gearbox might go tomorrow, and then you might have to replace the gearbox, so you'll end up in a loss. So in the end of the day, it's always a risk involved, so you have to be cautious on what you're doing. That's why you always need to make sure that your profit is in a nice potential margin. You can't work on a few £100 potential profit, £200-300. Although yes, you may make £200-300, but personally I wouldn't take the risk for that small amount of profit, potential profit. So picking up cars can be in lots of certain places. One way to pick up good deals is, if going through Gumtree, Auto Trader, websites like those, you can always find cars that are slightly, well, they need some TLC, I would say, but you have to be very careful, obviously, depending what kind of TLC. So TLC means that they need some work to it. So it could be a couple of bits, bodywork stuff that has to be certain areas resprayed, damaged. So you can pick up a car that's slightly damaged and then repair it and then sell it for potential good profit. And there are always people that can't be bothered to kind of invest money in their car. They just want to get rid of it. They know they'll get a lot cheaper, a lot less money that they could get, but they just can't be asked, and they just want to get it off their head, and they will let it go for a very cheap price just to get on. And another thing is, you want to make sure the cars are HPI clear. Although if you do buy a car that has been involved in an accident, it's going to be worth a lot less, so your profits will be less. Well, your profits might not be less, but the car will sell for a lot less than the regular car on, the same car without the insurance write-off or whatever category the car has. So there's a whole bunch of things you need to look out for, because it all comes down in the end of the day to making money. You don't want to do this wasting your time and losing money. Okay, the first time you might maybe just about break even, but it's a good experience to learn. So as long as you don't lose on your first deal, it's also a good thing. Or even if you do lose, it shouldn't be big money, because you don't want to lose money. We all want to make money. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the costs what I paid in the car I bought. So as I said about finding cars from people that just want to get rid of them, that's initially where I found this Peugeot. So this Peugeot was someone who had the car and needed quite a few things done to it, and I took on the risk because I knew what the car could have sold if the car was all in good working condition, and it paid off. You guys will find exactly how in a minute. So expenses on this car that I sold. Okay, So we'll talk about everything from the start to finish. And as I said previously, you want to add in every pound into this calculation, because you want to make sure you're making the real profit, not just profit that people imagine they're making it when they don't calculate £10 here, £5 there, this, that. It adds up and it could be a nice number. So we talk, the car had to have 2 tires replaced, 2 rear tires. I put second hands on the car, 2 good second hand tires. I paid £20 each, that was £40. Then I needed an MOT, that costed me £50. And road tax, as I said, I had to buy road tax because I was driving the car, I was parked on the street, so I had to pay 2 months road tax because the car was just, when I picked up the car, it was like just before the end of the month. So here in the UK you pay monthly, you can't get daily road tax, so it costed me 2 months, which was £50. And then I had to buy insurance to drive the car from the garage I collected it to my house. So I have this amazing app, you can just buy insurance for the hour. So I bought 2 hours insurance, which costed me £15. And then I went to take the car to a wash, just the outside, which costed me £5. And the interior I just cleaned myself. So sometimes you want to save money by doing things yourself rather than paying others. That just makes more profit for your own pockets, guys. So it's all up to you. I personally prefer making more profit for myself. Okay. Then there was actually quite a big issue with the car. So it was quite things didn't go that smooth as planned, so I'll explain. As you guys saw, I picked up the car from a garage. The reason why is the car just had, that time when I picked it up, a new alternator replaced, and everything was fine. Drove the car home. About 2 weeks later, I turned the ignition on, some dashboard light started to pop up, and took the car for a little drive around, and it just died. And I was like proper scared because I was screwed. I was like, shit, I might now just like lost everything or start to have to invest now a whole load of money into the car. However, it wasn't that bad as it could have been, but I still did go downhill because that meant I was stuck in the middle of the road with the car. Car didn't want to turn on. The reason why is the alternator failed. So as I said, I just got a brand new alternator in the car, so I called up the garage, and he said, bring it down, we'll have a look. Now the problem is I had to get the car towed, you know, with a truck from where I was stuck to the garage, and that costed me money as well. So that's unexpected cost. As I said at the first, there's always some unexpected cost. That's why you cannot leave your profit margin too small. Sorry I'm going a bit on and on, but I just want to make sure everything is nice and clear so you guys get most information as much as possible. So that costed me another £60 to get the car towed from the breakdown point to the garage. However, I was lucky, the garage replaced a brand new alternator free of charge. It was under warranty, so that was sorted. And then afterwards I drove the car back. It drove solid, everything was perfect. So that was very good, and that's good for the new owner because the car is solid. But that means I had to spend £60 extra on the recovery, and then I had to get insurance again to drive the car from the garage back to my house. And then of course from my house to the garage until I broke down, that's why I had to purchase insurance as well, because I don't drive cars without insurance. So that costed me £60 towing, insurance another £10 driving from my house until the breakdown point basically, and then back another £15, and then fuel another £15. So in total, after all the costs, including buying the actual car with all the expenses, the car costed me £780. I listed the car first on Gumtree for free of charge for 2 weeks, you know, just to see what will happen. However, there was no response on Gumtree, so I decided after 2 weeks, I had the car for like 2.5 weeks, so about 2.5 weeks the car was on Gumtree, there was no response. And what I decided, I'm going to put the car on Auto Trader, which does cost quite a bit of money, to be fair. £60 for an advert is, I think, quite overpriced. However, the response within the next day the car was sold. I mean, I had so many phone calls the day I listed it, and the next day a guy came down, he tested the car, everything was perfect, and it was sold. How much was it sold for? It was sold for £1,400. Now I know I could have added on a bit more and sell the car for a bit more, because according to the selling prices on Auto Trader or other places, so I listed the car for $1,495. Normally they would go for around $1,750. So $1,495 was a good price, so I got very good demand of interest. People were calling, someone came down, the first person that actually came down to see it bought it, so that was a good thing. Stress free, off my head. Now if you do 780 we'll do 1400 minus 780, 620. So that's my clear profit after every penny I spent on the car. So it's not bad. However, things were not smooth, but all in all, if I calculate all the work I put in, not the money, the work I put in was maybe around 7 hours in total, from going to the garage, including the breakdown, including picking up the car, dropping off the car, cleaning the car, taking the pictures. Probably around 7 hours in total of work. So for 7 hours of work, £680, I would say that's pretty good. I know a lot of people that don't do that in a full week of, you know, doing 40 hours a week, so I can't complain with that. I hope this was educational, has given you all the information, and I'm just trying to think if I missed anything. Probably I have missed something, but it's hard to remember everything one time. But yeah, so that's basically how to trade cars and make a living out of it. And people that do it with more higher value cars obviously make a bigger profit margin, but that means you need to lay out more money. And as I said, sometimes you can sell a car within a week, sometimes you can sell a car within 2 months. It's a lot of luck involved, and depending on the kind of car you have. So there's certain cars that sell faster, certain cars that sell slower, so it's a whole game that you need to look in before you start doing this. But if you're wondering how do I know a little bit about this trade, my dad actually has been doing it for years. Since I was a little child, my dad always used to buy cars and sell them. He was an official car dealer, but he always done that on the side, and I learned a lot through childhood, and I picked up things quite fast. Yeah. Anyways guys, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so yet, and if I've skipped something, please comment in the comment section below, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Bye now.